Yes, welcome Tassie Tiger fans. Michael Moss, independent Tasmanian tiger researcher, mainland Australia only, since 1995, independent. Now, earlier this week, I actually decided, just for the fun of it, to contact the Tasmanians to see if they're using environmental DNA down there, and also including the Tasmanian tiger in their surveying. Not that I think for 1 minute there are Tasmanian tigers there, and that'd be wasting your money anyway, but just as an academic interest I thought I'd inquire, and I got this reply earlier today, and from a Robbie Gaffney there, Wildlife Service, CC'd somebody in there, and Michael Dreesen, Senior Wildlife Management Officer, Robbie Gaffney, Department of Natural Resources and Environment, Tasmania, NRE. There's your Tassie tiger right there for the Tasmanian government, folks. So I contacted the Tasmanian government's conservation department there, and that's their symbol there, Tassie tiger. It once survived there till 1936. It hasn't been seen since, and it won't be because it's extinct there. Mind you, I'm on mainland Australia, so we won't be too harsh on our Tasmanian friends, considering we have the world record for mammal extinctions in the last 200 years on the mainland of Australia. So here's the reply. Dear Michael, thank you for your query regarding eDNA for Tasmanian tiger. Environmental DNA via the company EnviroDNA in Melbourne has been used in the past in Tasmania to assess for the presence of cytrid fungus in frogs and the presence of platypus. However, I am not aware of any current projects looking at environmental DNA in Tasmania to survey wildlife for any species. We are aware of the eDNA work that could potentially detect thylacines. If samples are collected in the future for eDNA purposes, then it is possible that they may also be screened for thylacines. So basically they've said we are aware of the eDNA work that could potentially detect thylacines. If samples are collected in the future for eDNA purposes, then it's possible that they may also be screened for thylacines. I mean, they may as well, they've got nothing to lose, but mind you, it's taxpayers' money. But yes, well, that's the third state government this week that isn't using environmental DNA for general screening. The South Australian government, you can see my YouTube videos that I put up this week, South Australian government or Conservation Department, the Queensland Conservation Department, and Tasmania. Really, it's a bit like artificial intelligence, this. If you don't use it, you're behind the times. It's, you know, as I said, it's lack of innovation through conservation monopoly. It's so easy to use this technology, and yeah, it's more effective than traditional. Put me out of business if somebody finds a thylacine on the mainland, I tell you. It's put me out of business in large chunks of the mainland, as I've shown you earlier this week in another video in the Murray-Darling Basin, you can see on YouTube. So yes, so that's the Tasmanian update for the Tasmanians. They're not using environmental DNA for anything at the moment, but I mean, you know, we'll give them credit. They're open-minded as far as, say they'll screen automatically for Tasmanian tiger, as they say there. It's possible that they may also be screened. You can bet they will, just for the fun of it, for the academic interest. Not that I'll find anything. But yes, I hope this is of interest. I mean, there's a bit of a cottage industry for decades in Tasmania, and the government departments like to keep it alive, basically for the tourism purposes, make a buck out of it, and there's a bit of a guilt trip as well, of course, given the history of the thylacine down there. But interesting reply, and thank you for your interest.